And what we're talking about in New York City, weather, weather, weather. We got a winter wallop, as our Mike Woods calls it. Huge amounts of snow in the city and in all the surrounding areas. And we're going right now to one of our reporters, Stephanie Bertini, who's in Washington Heights. Washington Heights, some reports say they got over nearly 1.5 feet in Washington Heights. Steph, thank you so much for joining us. What's it like out there?
Yeah, so Lisa, I talked to Mike Woods on the phone earlier today when we were out talking to people, and I said, so I'm hearing that Washington Heights got the highest amount of snow totals. He said, yeah, that's true, almost 15 inches here in the Heights. And talking to people, as you know, they're around shoveling, getting their vehicles from under the snow. Of course, we've seen the sanitation workers, if we can just show you this vehicle right here, out plowing. We've seen the salt trucks out, and then individuals with their shovels, obviously clearing pathways and making sure, you know, they can get around. You can see the sidewalks. The sidewalks are clear, and there's salt on the sidewalks, but you know, when it comes to the snow, I saw a lot of kids playing in it, toboggans. We went by a park around here, and it's fun if you like this kind of thing. A lot of people said that, you know, between yesterday and today, they came out because they wanted to experience it all for themselves. But today it's all about cleanup. Most businesses are open, Lisa. We did see a couple still closed this morning. You know, the logistics of workers getting to work, where they're coming from, et cetera, it all factors in. But overall, yes, a lot of snow, and a lot of people are enjoying it.
And Steph, what about like the sidewalks? It looks like there's a narrow path behind you, like on the sidewalk there. Yeah. That one corner you showed us was pretty clean. Was pretty cleaned up. But what about, you know, a lot? We saw bus stops that were not shoveled out for people. What are you seeing about that? I see some buses coming up behind you here. Do you see the bus where the bus stop shoveled?
So we saw some bus stops shoveled, some were not. Actually, a little farther uptown, we saw people waiting for the bus because, of course, we know city buses are running on the road because there was just so much snow on the sidewalk, the area where you normally wait for the bus. So we did see that. When it comes to the sidewalks, we are seeing clear paths, but not everywhere, you know. And as you talk to people, there's the logistics of getting around. And then there's, you know, some of the whole, like, I want to see it for myself. I want to get out in it. I talked to a mom with her little boy. She brought him out because, of course, school switched to remote today, as we know. And I talked to a lady walking her dog. The dog was wearing a coat and boots.
Hey, listen, the dog is prepared. The dog is, you know, got the right gear on. That's a good thing. And then, and what about the temperature? Because you're outside, it's very, very cold today compared to yesterday.
Yeah, so we're expecting, I guess, a cold snap, cold for the next couple days. And so that means he's asking me to move out of the way. And so that means you can see them, they're working out here. So that means the snow will stick around, right? You'll see the snow on the ground because it's going to be cold. It's going to remain intact.
Be careful with them going through there. We don't want you to get hit by that. Are you out of the way there?
I just moved up. Okay. Yeah, I'm out of the way. I just moved up. I'm on the snow. And I'm able to walk on the snow, Lisa, because let me show you. These boots, shout out to my sister. She always makes sure I have the right gear. But these are great. These are winter boots. They're for the elements. As you know, it's all about the layering, making sure that you have the proper coat. And then, you know, they say the head is a big deal because a lot of heat can escape from the top of your head. So what I do, because I like my hair to show when I'm on TV, is I wear the headbands and then, of course, I use the hood off and on.
I got it, girl.
But I'm Canadian, so I know all about it, right?
Right, exactly. So this is no big deal for you then, compared to Canada.
Right.
What you
I have a little training.
A little training.
I have a little training.
And have you guys been seeing the plows out? We see them out now in your live shop. And have you guys been seeing the plows out all morning long?
So we've been seeing the plows out. We've been seeing the city buses running. We've been seeing people out and about for the most part. We spent the morning in the Heights. We went into Inwood a little bit. So in this part of Manhattan anyways, you know, you see kind of the life that maybe was a little bit at a standstill yesterday. Yesterday, you know, obviously people were staying inside because the snow was coming down. Although a couple people told me, look, I came out yesterday because I wanted to see it come down for myself. And then, of course, this morning, getting to come out. And some people said, Lisa, enjoy it because it really is picturesque, especially if you're by a park or something like that under the daylight, as you know. But, you know, there is, if you had to go to work this morning, I mean, I talked to one lady. She goes, I expected the snow, but I didn't expect my boss to tell me to come in. She said, you know, if you had to get to work this morning, it's a little bit frustrating because, you know, you got to dig out. And we saw a lot of people with the shovels in hand trying to, like, get the snow from under the vehicles so they could drive out. That's frustrating for sure.
No, totally. And then in that car there, it looks like they tried to put plastic over the top of it to try. I've seen that with some of the cars. They put the plastic on top of it so that they can just lift up the plastic and lift off the snow and the car is clean. I don't know how well that works all the time, but you know, it's, I guess anything.
And we talked to someone who was using blankets to do the same kind of thing. I thought it was a great idea. I mean, whatever works, right? I don't know. But to your point, I don't know how well it works, but it's a good idea to try. You know what's interesting, Lisa? I noticed a lot of people just talking about the weather. And I think it's because, you know, this is where we really see the importance of news, of local news. Of course, people watching before the big weather events as our meteorologists were forecasting what was to come. And then I think there's a little bit of the element of how bad will it be, right? So we see a lot of people engaged in the topic. And I mean, the weather is all anyone's talking about in New York City because this winter storm, a little crazy for us. And it's cold, as we say here in New York, brick outside, Lisa.
It is totally brick outside. And you're talking about the weather too. And people would always say when we talk about storms in the past, they'd be like, oh, they always hype it. The news people, the weather people, they're always hyping it. They didn't hype this one at all. They hit this. Our weather team here at Fox 5 hit it right on the head in terms of what was happening. The only thing is started a little bit later in the city than they thought, but it was right on point with the snowfalls and all of that, you know?
No, pretty spot on. And then it's interesting to see if you're kind of like engaged in what's happening on social media. You know, obviously this is part of that larger winter storm system. And, you know, what's trending now is that Florida on the East Coast effectively decided not to participate in winter, although does Florida ever participate?
No.
You know, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, you hear the snow's going to come. You listen to officials. You listen to the warnings. And then you prepare as best as you can. And now we're hearing the officials say, Mayor Mamdani holding a press conference earlier, Lisa, as you know, saying the goal is for tomorrow, everything to be 100% back to normal, kids back at school, everything cleared. But again, expect to see the snow around in piles because it's cold. So the snow is not going to melt anytime soon.
It's not going anywhere. And good point. We're going to hear from Mayor Mamdani a little bit later on in the show. But Stephanie Bertini, thank you so much for that excellent report. And you and your crew stay warm and keep up the great work. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you. That's our Stephanie Bertini. She's in Washington Heights. They've been there all morning. Some of those streets look better than some of the streets we've seen in Midtown and on the Upper East Side here in Manhattan this morning, getting cleared out. But we're going to continue with this one. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to go out to New Jersey, which, as you heard earlier from our meteorologist, Mike Woods, parts of Jersey hit nearly a foot and a half of snow as well. We're going to find out what it's like on the roads there. New York City, they're hoping to be everything back to normal tomorrow.